Forge of Empires. Let's play a little bit. It's the beginning of 2025 and this is the very late game. At this stage I am at the last era, Space Age, Space Hub. I have been for a while. I still have stuff to do. I have buildings, great buildings to level, but this is the most fun part of the game. So as you can see, I'm going to do a lot of collections. So I'm going to usually check in 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, and I'm going to do various stuff, but because the production time is usually 24 hours, then most of my collections, or the most important thing I'm going to do, is right about now. And I'm going to start with aiding my neighbors, my friends and my guildmates. For this I'm going to collect from the Truce Tower, because they have this additional thing, 8 goods, which means that every time I help somebody, I'm going to get an extra amount of goods. So fortunately they have this automated helper, which they didn't at some point, and it was really tedious to go over all of the neighbors and other guys. So I would start collecting, but because the amount of buildings that I have is more than I have friends, so I'm going to use mass self-aid, which I originally thought was useless, but because some of the buildings will give you forge points if you motivate them, I'm going to use it. And you can see I have 113 buildings, although I have a full list of friends and I have a large guild, or I'm part of the large guild, and all my neighbors usually do motivate or polish my buildings. So now what I want to do is actually collect the production, because the last repeating quest that I have that I haven't finished and gotten my diamonds is the 24-hour production time. For this I'm going to first collect from my great building, which means that I'm now incapable of collecting from buildings that are producing forge points, and I'm going to collect from my production buildings. I'm using blacksmiths, which doesn't give much supply, but they are with the smallest footprint, so they are 2 by 2 in comparison to. Oh, okay, so this is the reason I accidentally collected from the Blue Galaxy, which is going to now double the rewards that I'm going to possibly get. It has a 50 or something like that % of proccing, but I'm still going to collect from these buildings. Schnitzel! God effing damn it! This is the danger of doing this thing. I'm now going to lose about 400 or 500 forge points, because I'm going to still collect from them, because the forge points actually don't really matter that much. I'm missing 1. Oh yeah, so just lost and I didn't even get the quest. If it doesn't really matter. So now we are going to do the Blue Galaxy. So because my forge points are full, I'm going to level up my Hydra. It's from the previous era, and it requires huge amount of goods. And the funny thing is that the goods I have less from the previous era than I have from this era. And it's weird, because from the other ones you can see that Jupiter Moon I have like abundance of this stuff. Doesn't really matter. So now let's start collecting. Yes, so you can see this is just 333 forge points that I just got from this building. I have my Echo Sanctums, 2 of them. If I'm quick I can actually collect from both of them, but I just misclicked and I didn't get it. So we have nice procs at the moment. This is the building from the winter event that I got. It's actually good, because not only does it give all of the positive things that most buildings do anyway, forge points and other things. It does support my quantum expedition, which is rare, and it also has the historical ally room. I'm going to collect from here and from okay, so if you are quick enough, then you can collect from several buildings before the game realizes that you have collected, and then the amount of points that you can spend at once is a little bit higher. But usually I have my Mughal temple and I have my instruments, which both are from the expeditions. My expeditions are now finished, or I have completed them all, and I pretty much just now farm. I'm doing the feudal Japan, which is the easiest one to farm, because you have the ability or access to market, which gives you access to later goods, which you can use to buy land, which you can use to produce huge amounts of resources quite quickly. So, but now the collection itself, it's just pretty much collecting all the items. So fortunately they have fixed the thing where you collect something, you don't have to press OK, but you can just see that there are several like additional rewards that I'm going to get, but they don't really matter, because I mean I don't need to see what exactly I got, because I'm going to open my inventory later on anyway, and everything that you have collected is shown there. So I have a lot of buildings. I haven't calculated how many forge points per collection I get. I think it's 4,000 or 5,000. It's you can definitely have more. I have seen players with much more collection, but they usually are like premium players. They actually pay money, and I think that one of the guys that was bragging about how many forge points he gets had what he called echo town, so basically just huge amount of echo sanctums. But yeah, the value of forge points has gone down at some time ago, not very long ago actually. It was a year, maybe a little bit more. 100 forge points was quite a lot, because you had special buildings that, for example, the Cape Canaveral, that gave you 100 forge points, which was huge for that time, and the same for the Arctic Orangery. But now you get event buildings, for example this, and I get 137, which will makes me question if I need the great buildings. For example, Alcatraz is completely useless, absolutely useless, because I'm going to get units. Again, let's take this, 18 units just for having this event building. So I get the logic that they want to have buildings that players will be motivated to actually get from the events, otherwise they wouldn't be playing it. But ramping it up and making them so much better makes you change things, which actually isn't bad by itself. I mean, you have to rebuild your city, or like refocus your buildings or your strategy, which would be actually good, because it gives a little bit additional gameplay. If you're playing, I also strongly suggest that you have the helper. It's at least for me, it's from Chrome, quite easy to find, and it does help. So actually I did already use it for the double collection, and now we are going to have the single lane thingies, and thank to god, they have made this extremely simple, because previously I even did a video on how you can collect that. You have to go and open the reconstruction and then go back and then hope the event. They had this special term. It wasn't accidents. I think it was events. Doesn't really matter. So go back and forth and then you will get your stuff. So I did already my expeditions. Both of them were sent out. I think that I can also collect from these. So nothing special. So the reason why I did the 24 hours was because if you are going to complete recurring quests, you have the chance of getting diamonds, which is the premium currency of the game. And if you have done it once, you are going to get medals, which at this point are pretty much useless. And but the diamonds, yes, I still are going to farm them, but not right away, because I have to have the 1 hour production. So I'm going to start these ones. I already did the rest of the stuff. I have completed my PvP, which is farming, absolutely nothing else. There is no strategy, no anything. Just pick the top guy here and fight them, because they are going to give you the most amount of points, and they are 10 times or almost 20 or 30 times with lower stats than the actual players. So this is a bot and these are the actual players. I think they even might be bots too, because in some games it's really easy to identify bots because they have both capital letters, which rarely happens. Let's take a look. So capital letter, yes, all capital letters, small letters, but if you have 2 names, okay, so this is 1. We had also the sword, okay, the law, but most of the players here, my bad, they do have capital letters in their names. But if none of the players here have like the first lowercase letter, then it's pretty much bots, which doesn't really matter. So yeah, that was it. That was the late game gameplay from January. I think it's the 4th of January 2025. I also could do Battlegrounds and PvP and Quantum Incursions, but I already did them. So the collection, the most fun part was this. And now I'm going to check back in 1 hour to collect, and then maybe later in the evening also going to do some things. So yeah, but I still strongly suggest that you play this game, because I have been playing for I think that there was an indication of how many yeah, so 2000 days. So holy shit, it's almost 6 years, and I have been logging in daily. So if you want a fun city building game, this is the one to go with.